This is a whispered reading of an excerpt from my new book, published about a week and a half ago. This is a choose-your-own-adventure style book, and you take on the role of this adventurer, and he's trying to make his way to a castle and slay the demons who have been terrorizing the countryside. So we're going to start not quite at the beginning and just see how far we can make it. And this is my bookmark, and a band-aid will definitely come in handy because there are dozens of endings and most of them very, very bad. Alright. The tavern looms ahead of you. Suddenly, a short tremor erupts, and a few of the rowdier guests fall to the ground, laughing hysterically. Several small groups are sitting outside, seemingly undisturbed by the earthquake, carousing and drinking. Grizzled warriors take turns tossing knives into a wooden plank that is shaped like a man. Serving wenches scuttle to and fro, and tongues wag with mention of news from all over the realm. You approach the heavy wooden doors, and from them burst a man and woman, sloshing liquid from their full tankards, stumbling towards a nearby alley. Inside the tavern, it is very loud, and the scent of roasting beast mingles with the smell of many smoking pipes. Scoping out the room, you notice that one man seems to be watching you, but you cannot be sure. Besides, you want a belly full of stew and ale before there is even one more thought of adventure. A serving wench with hair the color of black ink approaches you. She is wearing fine leathers made from rare basilisk hide, and she takes your order with a smile. You sit at a mostly empty table near the corner of the room, and just as your food arrives, the stranger approaches and sits across from you. He glances suspiciously around and then says, "The warring tribes have recruited lackeys from most of the townships east of here. Soon there will not be a safe place anywhere within 100 leagues. Some say that the tribal leaders are puppets of the bloody witch sisters. You must make your way to their castle, find a way inside, and slay them both if there is ever to be peace in the land. The king's reach does not extend to these principalities, so by the time his sentries assemble, the tribes will have pillaged and burnt every town, including Vicejoy. Also, rumors are milling that the witch sisters have droves of slaves working in a mine to produce the sulfurous materials needed for their nefarious magic, and that this very sorcery is the ultimate cause of our earthquakes. Make haste and remain steadfast, adventurer." He slips you a map, rises from the table, and walks out into the cool night air. You gulp down your stew and order a second drink while poring over the map and carefully considering your options. It seems that you could either travel north into the mountains or westward over a flatter area of veldt. Although you have never traveled in either area, you have heard rumors of strange doings and unusual peoples in the mountainous foothills. The flatlands, however, are known to be safe, crisscrossed regularly by heavily armored merchant bands, imperial troops, and artistic conglomerates. You pay for a room, enjoy the company of some new friends, sample a few more exotic drinks, purchase a small packet of medicinal herbs, and bed down for the night. You awake feeling refreshed. And now you must choose. If you choose to brave the mountainous paths, turn to page 36. If you choose to travel over the veldt, turn to page 38. This time, let's head into the mountains. You choose to head into the mountains. The way will be treacherous, and if trouble finds you, it is doubtful that anyone will come to your aid, but your spirit of adventure cannot be squashed. The foothills are verdant, with many high waterfalls and streams passing through large, tumbled boulders. It is comfortable to stroll along the well-trodden paths, and you take savor each candy breath of the fresh mountain air. After several days, you begin to notice increasingly unusual forest plants along the trail, and from the corners of your eyes you catch glimpses of strange beasts among the immense stones. Then, while bedding down one night, you are lulled into sleep by strange flute music, but you cannot be sure if it might have only been a dream. The next morning, after breakfasting on various berries and wild roasted tubers, you set off up an especially rocky hill, emerging upon a most unusual scene. In a small, clear glade, exquisite furniture has been wrought from the very woodlands, centered around a large table overburdened with goblets and crockery of all kinds, each filled with rich red wine. Occupying the area is a strange mix of humans, spear-wielding fish folk, beautiful elvish maidens, and satyrs. You have only heard of these goatmen in stories, so you gaze long upon the scene, deciding what to do. Everyone seems to be in a most debauched state, laughing and making merry, drinking deeply from the wine casks. A few of the satyrs take notice of you and beckon you forward, miming the suggestion that you take up a goblet and drink. Their enormous horns glint in the dappled sunlight, and all the while they smile at you fiendishly. You begin to feel that perhaps a couple of moments of respite might fortify you, but you are entirely unfamiliar with the ways of these Bacchants. The scene appears quite jovial. What do you do? It's time once again to choose. If you stay and drink with the satyrs and their guests, turn to page 40. If you resist the urge to quaff their many wines, turn to page 41. This is a difficult decision. Let's resist the urge. The scene before you seems both lewd and dangerous. Satyrs are notoriously unpredictable, and you think it best to stay well away from their wine and song. With a final quizzical look, you turn to leave. Continuing along the path, you begin to encounter steep trails leading up and up, away from the main thoroughfare. One such trail seems quite worn and inviting, lined with sprays of bright flowers and many-hued ornamental foliage. Glancing up among the trees, you find a handsome stronghold surrounded by beautiful gardens. A number of women are moving among the plants, and one of them, quite fair, smiles and waves down to you. It seems a friendly enough scene, so you traipse up the trail and within minutes find yourself seated comfortably in a long hall beside a roaring fire, the guest of a northerner named Tagore. It seems that Tagore's dwelling is a popular respite for weary travelers, and his many wives certainly make you feel quite at home, serving up exotic spiced dishes and cup after cup of sweet honey mead. Tagore himself is a jovial fellow, sporting a massive braided beard, never seen without his exquisite drinking horn. Tales are told, songs are sung, and you begin to feel that fortune has finally smiled on you. This level of hospitality is most welcome and reassuring, and you sleep very soundly on fresh linens that night. The next morning, you're offered some tasty spiced jerky for breakfast, and spend a few hours chopping firewood. Tagore has insisted that you stay to sample a very special dish during the festivities tonight. It is to be a grand celebration in your honor, he says. His wives offer up warm, comforting smiles, and more servings of meat and mead. What do? You need to get on with your quest, but you don't want to insult your host. Taking another bite of the delicious spiced jerky, you pause to consider your options. Okay, once again, we must choose. If you decide to stay another night to sup with Tagore's family, turn to page 51. If you risk insulting the northerner, and take your leave. Turn to page 55. Well, let's just stay one more night with Tagore. Okay? The time has arrived, and the unusual meal has been presented. Tagore looks at you and bellows. Sup now, traveler. Feast on the forest of fruits and shrooms gathered under bone-dark moons, drenched in the blood of the poppy. Taste now of these delights. Taste of them and be glad. You look down at the bowl before you. The special meal is an overly oily broth, filled with mushrooms and odd bits of gray matter, with diced carrots. Taking up your spoon, you begin to eat. Soon after your first bite, your head begins to swim. The chunky morsels might have been poisoned. You try to stand, but your legs are like jelly. The faces of the northerners' wives now seem grotesque and hungry. Lights flash before your eyes while a queer darkness falls around the room. In your feverish dream state, you wander out over radiant viridian fields beneath a cloudless blue sky. Chimeras drink from a nearby waterfall, while a king stag gazes down proudly from a tall ridge. You are vaguely aware of a cutting sensation along your legs and flanks. You begin to taste salt. The king stag leaps away out of sight. Suddenly, you feel very tired, so you lay down among the cool grasses. The women idly chat while their experienced hands remove your brain and other organs. Your eyes peer out blankly from a jar of vinegar. Strips of your flayed hide are blended with rare forest spices. The stringy meat will provide winter nourishment for the northerner and his wives, but your adventure, unfortunately, ends now. Game over. Well, this time we didn't quite make it. But if you'd like to give it another go, you can find my book on Amazon, and I'll link it in the description below. Thanks for joining.